Hey guys, it's Dawn here, and today I want to talk about discipline. Discipline is essential, crucial, very, very important part of life, and self-development and training for everybody, animals and humans. I think it's really lacking in our society. And I think part of that is because there's different definitions of discipline. There's a definition of discipline like disciplinary action, where it's a punishment, right? So there's that definition, that let's say there's two whole different worlds. There's punishment and then there's discipline. So what is my definition of discipline? Let's take a look. If you look back, it comes from Latin, disciplina, instruction and training. Discere, to learn. Discipulus is pupil, Latin. It also is how they got the word disciple. And so we got discipline. One definition is to study, learn, train, and apply a system of standards. It is not obedience to someone else's standards to avoid punishment. That is not discipline, okay? When you stretch out your hand to guide, not steer another along life's journey. And it brings stability and structure, which is what a lot of people and animals lack, and it's really beneficial because it leads to self-discipline, inner control, and the ability to self-regulate. So you see I do a lot of liberty work on Lasser, right? Which is where he has the freedom to go in and out. He has nothing controlling him. And I expect him to take responsibility of his knowledge of what I'm teaching him and take responsibility for it. So if I take him somewhere and then I say, okay, stay, I expect you to just stay. You will know what it means to stay, and you will do it regardless if I've set out grain or there's food or there are other horses or whatever. You will stay because you have the discipline, you have the self-control, you have the self-confidence, all that to listen and mind and do what is right, which is to listen to me and stay, right? Discipline comes in when in dogs, if you tell a dog to stay and then you set a bowl of steaks in front of his nose, does he understand the word stay? If he understands stay, okay, but does he have the discipline to self-regulate himself? If you leave the room, he will continue to stay and not touch the steak. Or if the dog is all excited and running after a squirrel and goes all nuts and crazy, runs after the squirrel, if I call his name and say, come, does he have the discipline to stop his desire to chase the squirrel and come back to me? Or in the horse, if I fall off, and if he's scared and I fall off him, does he have the discipline to stop himself and come to me and wait for further instruction, right? Or same thing, come when I call him, stay if I tell him to stay, not pull back. And I hope you get my meaning. Discipline is the control, the willpower you impose on yourself to control the inner demons or desires or temptations, to resist temptations, because you know that that is right. And you know that that's right because you've learned that these are the standards, okay? Discipline is very effective. It creates a system for us. It creates these rules for us to live by. So it's funny. So I'm looking up, you know, the technical meaning of this word and stuff so that I can be correct. And I found this thing, this article, and it will come up for you if you do a Google search on discipline, right? And it says this article is called 10 Powerful Ways to Master Self-Discipline. This is meant for humans, but it can apply to horses as well. This applies to horse training. First one, know your weaknesses. Know your horse's weakness. Self-confidence issues, can't be tied because they pull back, understand your horse's weaknesses. Number 2, remove temptations, or in other words, set up the horse for success. Number 3, set clear goals and have an execution plan. You should have a plan. You are the human. You should have the plan. And you should be able to set these clear goals and be able to execute it with your horse. 4, build self-discipline through practice and repetition. Martial arts is a discipline. Well, many of them are. Traditionally, they are. And that is practice and repetition, learning music, sports. All of those things, practice and repetition, groundwork, practice and repetition, walk, trot, transitions, right? Practice and repetition builds self-confidence and self-discipline. Number 5, create new habits by keeping it simple. In other words, baby steps. Baby steps, create new habits. If you have a cribber, if you have a horse that is completely buddy sour, create new habits and keep it simple. Do baby steps to help them break through that. 6, interesting, for humans, and we have a gallbladder. Eat often and healthy. Same applies to the horses, and which is why one of the key things I've said to people all the time is you gotta let them have access to hay 24/7. This is how they are designed. They don't have gallbladders. If your horse thinks that it's starving all the time, and especially if it gets up to the point where they're getting food aggressive and all that, it is becoming a psychological issue that is going to directly impede your relationship, building a good relationship, foundation, self-confidence, all of that. So that's number 6. Number 7, change your perception about willpower. A lot of humans think that that there is a limit to their willpower. Everyone has a breaking point, right? Well, change your perception about that. And change your perception about that in animals. A lot of people think animals don't have a willpower. They can't self-regulate. They can't master inner control and have self-discipline. Well, you've seen Lasser have that. That's what I think I've proven in a lot of my videos, and your horse can have it too. And I can even show you any horse can have it, any dog can have it. They can have willpower. It is possible. And it will start with you understanding that it is possible, and then that's the first step to you realizing how to bring that out in the horse to your benefit, right? Number 8, have a backup plan. Number 9, reward yourself. Reward the horse. And number 10, forgive yourself and move forward. In other words, don't get emotional. Understand that there's going to be setbacks, there's going to be mistakes, there's going to be frustrations. Take that all in stride. forgive them and move forward. You cannot hold a grudge, because that is a human thing, to really hold a grudge. And it accomplishes nothing good. It is completely useless, and it is inefficient. It will make it so that you're not clear in your training and stuff. So you have to forgive them, and you have to just move forward. And then Forbes has an article on discipline and mastering self-discipline and all that too. And it was pretty much all the same stuff as what I just said in this other article. But one thing that they stressed on, which I'm going to read here, it says, schedule breaks, treats, and rewards. Do not be entirely cold turkey, hardcore, and drill sergeant light in your execution. Giving yourself zero wiggle room often results in failures and disappointments. That's the same exact thing in horse training, right? So in that case, you have to be the one that is understanding this and helping your horse along. And it even says to give breaks, treats, and rewards. And yet, if we do that for horses, all of a sudden there's a bunch of people criticizing that and go, no, my horse will do what I say without having to dangle carrots in front of their face. And what happens if you don't have carrots with you? Then they don't listen? And no, it's not like that, you know? And there are actual studies on willpower, scientific studies on willpower, and how it saps energy, and how a treat and a reward can boost that and reinforce. And I mean, it is scientifically proven. But anyways, I'm not going to go into that. So I think discipline is extremely important. If you're teaching a horse, like, to hold their leg up, right? I work with a lot of horses that have no patience for the farrier, and no farrier wants to work with them because they're dangerous. They won't hold their legs up and stuff like that. Well, that's them learning that either they can get away with it, or it's been painful in the past. They're traumatized. Someone was a little bit too harsh in punishment, and that has now traumatized them to the point where they don't want to come back, and they don't want to trust, and all that stuff, right? But the act of the horse being willing to hold their leg up for you while you work on it, it's weird, it's kind of unnatural, it's uncomfortable, you know, it takes a long time, they need patience. Sometimes they may hurt a little if they have lots of thrush, and you got to clean that out, because that's an infection, and it could be sore, but you have to balance it, or, you know, stuff like that. So there's all these reasons why the horse wouldn't want to hold their leg up for you, but the reason why they do is because of discipline. And that doesn't mean that you go and smack the horse when they don't do it. It means that you are teaching the horse, hey, look, I know that it's sore. I'm going to be as gentle as I can. I'm going to try to be as quick as I can. I'm going to work with you, but you got to meet me halfway too. You have to trust me, and you have to control your desire to kill me. Control that desire to kill me. Give me a chance, trust me, and keep holding your leg up for me so that I can do my job, and I promise it will make you feel better, right? And that is going to take discipline on the horse's part, and they will be totally willing to do that, just as long as you prove that you are true to your word and your promises. So I just wanted to stress that discipline does not equal punishment. I think in a lot of people's minds now, that they think discipline immediately that's linked to punishment, and they're totally separate things. And then there's discipline, then there's discipline is more like responsibility. I don't, when I work at liberty with the horse, it's because I don't want the horse to only listen to me if he has a halter and my rope and I'm physically holding on to this rope, and that is why this horse is listening to me. That doesn't impart any responsibility to the horse, right? But if I have no rope and I say, come here, and then the horse comes, he is taking all of that responsibility onto himself to come. And I can trust that a lot more than I can trust a rope. A lot of times I will see owners, they try to catch their horse for me to train or trim or whatever, right? And the horse is fighting them. Horse is running away. So then they finally corner them, and then they, try to get the halter on, and the horse is, fighting that, and then they finally wrestle, or, if they grab their ear and they twist it and they force that halter on, they got the rope, and then the horse drops his head and comes to me, and they go, oh yeah, everything's good now. I got the horse now, so you'll be fine. I'll be like, no, I don't want to work on that horse. Do you mind if I do my way? Because a horse that has been captured like that is going to have the wrong mindset, and I'm probably going to get hurt. So for me, I would let that horse go again, and this time I would go about it in a, I don't want to use judgmental words, but in another manner, and basically get the horse to where they come to me and they willingly accept the halter. And that means that now their whole attitude is that they're willing to, they see me, they're taking on the responsibility, and they are accepting that they want to come over, they want to work with me. And now I have a willing partner that I can work under and be safer under than a horse that was forced into it. And that is why all of my training is based off of this awareness and understanding and encouraging that the horse be an active participant and not just be a slave or a robot in this process. I want them to have an active role in this, because that'll make me safer, that'll be a stronger connection, and it is you can trust that. If you have the devotion, if you have devoted obedience out of devotion, obedience willingly given out of mutual trust, respect, and devotion is way better and more trustworthy than obedience based off of fear of punishment or fear in general, right? And this concept has been proven time and time again in humans and in animals. So that is why I do the liberty, to do as much. And then a lot of people, when they go, okay, why doesn't my horse have self-confidence? Look at how they're trained. If you are training the horse by punishment and by drill sergeant like no tolerance techniques, where they have to fumble on their own or whatever, right? If you are treating them as such, that strips away their self-confidence. But if you are training them in a way that encourages a thinking horse, encourages self-confidence and taking responsibility of their own self and allowing them to make their own choices, and showing them, teaching them, leading them the difference between right and wrong, and why you want to go to the right all the time, and all that. When you are doing that, that's how you are building self-confidence. So a lot of times these horses that don't have self-confidence is because it is inherent in the militant robotic type style of breaking horses. It's right there in the definition, isn't it? So there you go. My time is up. Hope you enjoyed that little chat and hope it helps, gives you something to think about. And thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.